there, Flowery Folk. Welcome to season 2. I know it's been too long. It's been something I've been going to do for many months now. I think I put a post on social media back in March saying it's coming. It wasn't. It just wasn't. I'm going to kick off this season with an episode that is all about your goals and focusing on what is important in your business and trying to filter out all the crap that we get sucked into in our businesses that sometimes draws us away from what we really want to achieve. Obviously, that is where I was sitting up until quite recently. I was feeling completely overwhelmed with all the things I thought I had to do, especially after taking on Flowers Magazine Australia. I felt a lot of pressure to get certain things sort of done, try and obviously know more about the industry. I'd spend way too much time reading things and researching things and all sorts of stuff. I was basically just running out of time to do things that I wanted to do in my businesses. So just a little bit of background for those that who may not know. I have my floral design business, the Posy Crew, which basically brings in all of my money. Then I have the floristry education, which is this podcast, which, because I haven't done anything with it for ages, it's clearly not bringing in any money, apart from a few fun workshops that I do in Cairns. It's sort of, it is what it is. And then I also took on Flowers Magazine Australia about 12 months ago. Now, I felt really strongly that that needed to be given a chance to work. So I took it on. It was a major learning curve. Don't get me wrong. It was not easy at all. I've so far put out 3. This might be my 4th coming up. Issues, it's great. I've had to redo the website twice, just for, figuring things out as we go. Certain platforms work better than others. And I've now swapped it over to a completely digital magazine, which I know is probably not great for some people, but it just helped me stay across the costs. And I know now that, it's not costing me money to do an issue, which is how it was before. So that's the main parts of my business. So you can sort of see they're all similar but different, if that makes sense. So anyway, I was feeling a little lost in amongst all of that and not getting the stuff done that I really wanted to do. So I sat down and I started thinking about, where do I want to go in my business? What are my goals? What is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing? So back to, what is my why? So I really had to sit down and sit with those things and think about them for a little bit to help me refocus on what it is that I'm doing. I think I was starting to lose the fun in some of the things. So like the podcast, for instance. When I first started that, it was just me sitting having a chat. It was fun. I liked it. Then I did start to spend too much time overthinking it. What should I say? Maybe the background needs to be pretty, and I'd just be faffing around, and it'd just take way too long to set up a session and record. So that was something that I didn't particularly like. There was something that was sort of nagging me about that I couldn't get done last year, which I was really sort of bummed about. And now it's sort of starting to come back and bite me a little bit. And that is updating my website for the Posy Crew. So I have a very specific customer now that I do tend to work with. I have a certain minimum order, And, I'm sort of only really taking on weddings or events that I sort of enjoy doing. That was my hope anyway for this year and next year. However, because I didn't really get that update on my website done, I'm still attracting a lot of the same clients that I did last year for their weddings, moving through this year and also into next year. So that was something I really didn't like, and I never got to do it. So, yeah, I'm a bit bummed about that. They were sort of the main things, I think, that I didn't like in my business. I then started to think about what I did like, which is obviously doing weddings and events, especially ones that I feel align with the style that I have and are offering a bit of a creative challenge sometimes. I also really like just chatting with people in the industry and sharing ideas and stories and just sort of finding out what's happening out there in the cut flower industry. I also really enjoy sharing what I know about floristry. So whether that's practical floristry or things that I've learnt over the years in the business side of it, I really do enjoy doing that. So anyway, they were the things I liked, the things I didn't like. One other thing that I didn't like, don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but was the fact that I was spending way too much time working in my business in relation to the income that I was making. So when I started up the Posy Crew, it obviously was around my lifestyle. The kids were smaller, doing, a lot of driving to and from school stuff, kids stuff, all of that. So I've never wanted it to be a full-time job. Kids are getting bigger, all of that. So I've got a little bit more time to spend, and I did feel that I was getting sucked into working full-time in the back end, like on admin and just shit in the business. And I wasn't increasing the income to support that. So I don't know issues working full-time in your business, but as long as you're paying yourself a suitable full-time wage, and I wasn't. The events that were coming through only sort of support a part-time income. So that was something I didn't like in my business as well. So then what I did is I sat down and I considered how I can move forward, because I can't keep going the way I am. I'm spending too much time doing crap that I don't want to do, and the things that I do want to do just aren't getting done. And I'm sure lots of you get to that particular place. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I needed to come up with a plan on how to get out of my rut, so to speak. My plan was to get back to doing more things I like, finding time to do the things that I like, and to minimize the time that I was spending on the things that I didn't like, or what other ways could I achieve the same outcome without having to do it. So a few things that I have been doing since and about to start doing. Firstly, I had to consider the podcast and how I can make that work for me. So you might see, if you're watching this as a video rather than just listening, or maybe if you are listening, you might be hearing those funny noises. I'm actually in the studio at the moment, working on a wedding, chatting to you, just like I would if we were working together in a flower shop. There's always conversation over the workroom bench when you're in a studio. So I figured, why not? Whilst I'm doing these lovely wedding, I'm going to record a podcast. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. You tell me. As I figured at the end of the day, as long as you can hear me, I don't need to look great. I don't need to be sitting in an awesome location, pretty hair, makeup, all of that shit. That took way too much time. And it's not really how I look in the day to day. So I decided I'm going to try and make it work around what I'm already doing. I also wanted to be able to connect more with you guys, my people, my industry. So instead of worrying about social media and spending too much time thinking about what the fuck am I going to write this week, all of that sort of stuff, I've actually decided I'm going to try and start up, because I never actually started it in the first place, for people that have joined my newsletter, my educational newsletter. I'm going to share my thoughts on that more regularly. I don't want to do it too much because I do get bombarded with way too many emails myself. So maybe that's something I'll do, I don't know, once a month, once a fortnight, and really just connect with you on more of a personal level rather than stressing too much about what to say on a social media platform, and you're probably not going to see it anyway. Let's be honest. What else am I doing? Oh, with regards to the magazine, I want to get better at, again, reaching out and being in contact with our amazing readers. They have been so good in supporting me through all of these crazy changes that I've done in this magazine. So I want to get better, again, at connecting with them, which will probably mean my monthly newsletter, maybe, I've got to work it through, might turn into a fortnightly newsletter. See how that goes. But that's sort of the plan, to connect with people, but connect with them more personally, so I don't feel all that pressure on that I was getting through social media. So, yeah. So they're my plans for 2026, that we're halfway through the year, 2026, 27, is just to start to refocus on things that I like, things that are going to move my business forward, and to stop getting distracted by all the noise and all the little bits and shits that we think we need to do in our business, but we don't really have to. Anyway, so that's my plan. Hopefully I get much better at my batch creation. That was something I was really good at sort of this time last year, I will admit, and I definitely got out of that habit. So my plan is to get back into that, try and record a couple of episodes a month is ideal, but maybe it'll only be one episode a month. Who knows? Take a little bit of that pressure off. Just talk a bit with you in the studio and, yeah, reconnect. Have some fun. Right. That's me gibbering on for my first episode of the season. I hope it was helpful. Maybe not. Maybe it was just me gibbering on. But keep an ear out for me. I hope to get up again more regularly and chat to you about everything that's going on in my business, or anything that I think might be interesting or helpful for you. Until next time, thank you for joining me. And hey, I would love you to say hi. Let me know you're still listening after all this time, and you haven't forgotten about the podcast due to my neglect as well. If you're new, great to see you. Make sure you check out some of our back episodes to understand what the hell I'm all about and what I've been whinging about for the last, 15 minutes or so. Until next time, thank you, and yeah, have a great flowery day.